All right. Hello, everybody. We're just, of course, going to wait and give people a chance to show up here. So hopefully people will show up soon here. Anyways. I hope everybody's having a good week. Get up with a get along game when you know it's okay. Get up with a get along game. Oh, get up with a get along game when you know it's okay. Get up with a get along game. Oh, get up with a get along game. Everyone knows it's okay. All right. Well, it looks like we have two people watching now. So, um, hey, Shadowhawk. Hey, Mike. What's up? Not much. Um, Thanks for dropping in and dropping a like and share to see. Um, Hope your weekend went well. So I'm gonna do something real quick here. Yeah. So. All right. So, anyways, yeah. So I'm just waiting for some more people to show up. Very nice, but very nice. How about you, Mike? You didn't? No, I'm not a father, and I'm on the spectrum, so I have enough trouble just getting a girlfriend, no less. Even going through all that with like marriage and having a family and stuff. And my own father, of course, passed away about a year and a half ago. So, oh yeah. So basically, it was just another day for me yesterday. Um, I went to church in the morning, and then, of course, came home, set up my streams for the week, and then, of course, I was on RJ's show last night, the open panel night. So, along with George and George Peter Gattis and James Lee, so we had a nice conversations going on there, among many things. Um, yeah. So, anyways, let's see. That's all right. Hey, it happened, and he ended up getting colon cancer. He tried going with all the treatments for a while, but then just decided, he just felt like he just wanted to, just try to live out the rest of his days as comfortably as possible. So, I'd say it was probably a year ago, this past November or December, that he passed. So, um, he was 74, so it wasn't like um, wasn't like he was not like he had a short life. He lived a pretty normal life, I guess. Huh. Just waiting around to see if more people show up. That's all I'm doing here. That's back up to two people watching. All right, so we're coming up on 5 minutes. It looks like we have at least two, maybe three people, depending upon how you read the count here. So, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream. So, um, So here's what's on tap for tonight. I got like 4 articles I'm going to go over. 4 articles I'm going to go over. Let's see. Basically, we're going to start off with an article from RJ. So we're going to do a couple of reviews first in the comics section. We're going to do comics news first. One's a review RJ did from his site in regards to Pocus Hocus. And then we're going to go over to Bounding into Comics and do a review from there on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Look over those articles. And then we got a couple anime stories we'll go over from regards to Sony and Studio Orange. The wrestling wrap up. There's quite a bit going on there. So, and then of course our This Day in Each History segment at the end. So, without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started then? Let's see. Okay. So, anyways, let's see now. All right, so here we go with the first article here. The rabbit's out of the hat. Pocus Hocus exposed in issue 3, submitted by R.J. Carter on Monday, 1529. I'm guessing, 1529, that could be 329. I don't know if that's Eastern, Central. I imagine it's probably Central because that's where he's at. But anyways, let's get into this article here. Pocus Hocus made a deal with a demon, his soul in exchange for unlimited magical powers. But now his stage assistant, Emily, has uncovered his secret as well as just what she's been assisting with. Oh boy. In this world created by Alan Dunford and Will Radford, souls are currency for demons, and demons use that currency to gamble. Hold on. Okay, I think I need to. I think I was so excited to get into this story that I forgot to go to the main article here. only would have read off just the intro there. Alright, so let's see. Alright, still watching, okay. Alright, so anyways, getting back to the article then. Hopefully we'll get more people in here soon. Let's see, where are we? Oh yeah, currency for demons, and demons use that currency to gamble. When the demon Pocus dealt with the demon Pocus dealt with finds himself in debt to other demons, he strong-arms Pocus into adding a new trick to his act, one in which he would deceive volunteers from the audience into signing over their souls. Oh boy, that's not a nice thing to do. That's a very naughty thing to do, in fact. One in which, okay, yeah, we read that part already. When Emily finds this out, she confronts Pocus, and that brings us to Pocus Hocus number 3, her issue currently at hand. Let's see. Oops, no, not that. Not exactly what I was trying for there. All right, there we go. At Emily's insistence, the two take a trip into hell to win back the innocent souls she unwittingly helped send there. Naturally, upon arrival, the first thing they do is feed a cat, and that gets the ball rolling toward wanton death and destruction. Whoa. That sounds interesting. RJ's got a real flair for words, doesn't he? I'll just be real quick here. Just gonna go do cover. Cover. All right. So, anyways, let's get back to the article here. All right. So let's see. Oh, Hocus Hocus is a full color comic that chooses to represent much of its story in black and white. Only things imbued with magic get color. Okay. All right. ah. Anyways, um, only things imbued and get color added to them. So when our heroes find themselves in hell, the pages come alive, leaving only Hocus himself in monochrome as the two face down demons in their search for the one demon with whom Pocus has his deal. They should survive so long. The series is a sarcastic riff on Faust and the Devil and Daniel Webster. Faust and the Devil and Daniel Webster. Pocus has become disenchanted and disaffected since he achieved his powers. After facing the irony of not getting to use them for the one thing he truly wanted them for, in addition to his no nonsense assistant Emily, there is Horace, the pink bunny, who is actually a creature from hell, and Ivan, the Hocus family manservant, who has seen too many things a mortal shouldn't see and has pretty much cracked from it. Oh boy, the old Mad Butler gimmick, huh? Let's see. Let's see. All right. It's all a great bit of fun, um, presenting the world of the supernatural with a veneer of banality, from which the writers derive much of the humor in the series. Pocus Hocus number 4 is preparing to launch soon. Watch the Critical Blast YouTube channel for upcoming interviews with the creative team. Yeah, always catch RJ's channel, guys, because he does a lot of those interviews, and they're very good when he does them. Uh, you know, yeah. So yeah, and if you and guys, if you are in need of promoting your products, don't forget to go talk to RJ because he's very good at it. That's his thing. So you know anyways, and also while you're here, don't forget to if anything else catches your interest as we're going through these articles, feel free to comment on it. So with that, we're going to move on to the next article now. And we're now going over to Bounding into Comics. Anyways. And the other article we're going to look at tonight is going to be this one, which cuts across comic book, video games, and television. All right, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Article by Slade Hale, published back on the 16th, which was last Thursday. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. I believe this is another kind of review article here. Tribute Games teamed up with Dotemu, the publisher responsible for bringing the ultra-popular Streets of Rage 4 to gamers in 2020, for a brand new side-scrolling Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat-em-up bonanza. Shredder's Revenge has finally been released after what felt like an eternity in production. But does it kick as much shell as Tribute originally promised? Turtles in a half shell, turtle power. They're the world's most fearsome fighting team. When the evil Shredder attacks, these turtle boys don't cut 'em no slice. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power. All right, so anyways, we're getting into this. Okay, first, it's worth noting that Shredder's Revenge is tailored to a laser-focused fan demographic that grew up watching the original 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like myself, like RJ, like Chris Tomolovich, like many of us, and the video games that followed. This installment takes most of its design and gameplay cues from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time, as opposed to its iconic coin-op predecessor. That's not a bad thing, actually. While Turtles in Time failed to capture the same resonance as the preceding arcade title, it did introduce a lot of gameplay mechanics that allowed for more fluid and engaging combat. As opposed to a simple hack and slash formula. Shredder's Revenge takes everything introduced in that game and builds upon it in a big way. Yeah, even the artwork seems like they took it from the 80s there. You got Raphael up top there, then Michelangelo, Donatello, and Leonardo. All right, the story. When the Statue of Liberty is taken over by the evil Foot Clan, the heroes in green take to the mean streets, rooftops, sewers, and a variety of other interesting locations to do battle with them once again. Their goal is to catch up with Bebop and Rocksteady, who are collecting pieces of Krang's android body for purposes yet unknown. Of course, Shredder sits at the heart of the operation, pulling the strings to achieve his master plan. Game progresses, as expected, players will slug it out with bad guys through a variety of stages before making it to an end boss, or bosses, each of whom has a specific attack pattern that needs to be exploited to gain victory. So here's kind of what they're looking at there. Yeah, that does have that does look like it has a classic feel to it right there. You look at that that artwork with that animation right there. That does look that looks old school stuff there from the old school 80s, early 90s. Mr. Po 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 Po. All right. If you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream and see if we can get some more people in here, that'd be appreciated. Anyways, we shall continue on with the article here. A lot of fan favorites in the cartoon and ancillary material make their way into the game as well, from the infamous Mousers and wheelie robots to big bads like Leatherhead and Rat King, to name a few. Even Toka and Razar make a guest appearance during a fight in the shopping mall. Backing up the Turtles are April O'Neil and Master Splinter, with a few more surprises thrown in the mix. Short, it's a 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lover's dream come true, with all the characters and franchise references one could possibly think of, and then some. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a house shell. Guess where the Po River is? I have no idea. Rewatch it. Cool. The gameplay. Shredder's Revenge faced the risk of copycatting just about every other arcade brawler imaginable. But Tribute tried its best to flesh out the gameplay mechanics. Proof can be seen in the pre-game tutorial slides, which demonstrate just how many attacks, counterattacks, and evade maneuvers players can utilize to stay alive. That right there. That's the animation right there. In fact, most gamers will be sliced into turtle soup in record time if they don't adapt their fighting style, especially with the difficulty cranked up to gnarly. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen? Those of us who are in our 40s and 50s, remember that term, gnarly? Like, gnarly, dude. Like, gag me with a spoon. Enemies have quick reflexes in this game, and they won't pull any punches, which means players need to figure out their patterns, attack intelligently, and dodge out of the way to avoid getting slugged. This adds to the replay value of the game, which is good considering that these types of action brawlers tend to get stale in relatively short order. The more players fight, the more fluid they became, taking advantage of both ground and aerial evasions and counter strikes. Not to mention special attacks to pull them out of a bind. And classic video game animation right there. Look like the Foot climbs on some kind of jet-powered skateboard, it would appear. And so are the turtles. The game relies heavily on combos to build up a power meter, which can unleash those special attacks. This is handy when too many enemies are on screen, overwhelming the player. Throughout the course of the adventure, new special attacks can be unlocked in order to vary things up and keep the formula feeling fresh. All right. Yeah, actually, I'm going to step away from the computer for a quick moment. I'll be right back, though, guys. I hope you're enjoying the content thus far. Leave it with some music for a moment while I just take care of a couple things real quick. I'll be right back. I'll just leave you some music here so I can find some. Let's see. Right. Hey, the Rich River is in Australia, so I'm guessing the Polar River is far from that. Okay, all right. That's a very interesting joke there. Anyways, let's get back to the article here. So the environments also play a critical role with many interactive items that can be smashed to reveal power-ups and collectibles, or used to take down enemies, much like the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade games of the 1990s. Once again, Tribute takes all these past mechanics into account and expands on them to make the game feel more interactive and combat more flexible. Well, the look is very classic here. Classic '90s animate, classic '90s video game animation right here. This is cool to see, especially in modern times here. There's also collectibles to be found in the form of newspaper articles, um, diary entries, and VHS tapes, to name a few. Different characters will ask players to locate these items through each stage, usually hidden inside a breakable container of some sort. Once all the items um, have been found, the characters will reward players with extra points. Shredder's Revenge is slightly non-linear in terms of stage progression as well. Instead of simply moving from one stage to the next, players can put around a top down map reminiscent of the classic single player Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game released on Nintendo Entertainment System in 1989. Some of that right there, I guess. These turtle boys don't cut 'em no slice. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell, turtle power. Was this done on purpose for nostalgia's sake? Possibly, but there's more to it than that. Players can replay stages in order to find all the hidden collectibles or gain some practice. It's another way of making the game feel less constricted to classic side-scrolling beat-em-up formulas, and any little bit helps. Look at those barrels right there. Nostalgia. Younger gamers may not get what Shredder's Revenge is all about, but older gamers, cruising around 40 years old, will absolutely understand it. This is a game made for them, and it shows. The game predates the ruin brought upon the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise, courtesy of several really bad animated TV shows and the unholy Michael Bay live action films. Oh, look at that! Look at that! You even got like arcade game consoles within the game. Look at that, classic right there. Instead, it tackles everything from the 1980s 90s time period when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was one of the hottest media franchises on the planet. Cartoon series, the comics, and the original New Line live action flicks all get a shout out here while building on the classic arcade games of yore. Even side characters get their moments in the spotlight, including Irma Langenstein, the Punk Frogs, the Neutrinos, Vernon Fenwick, and even Burn Thompson. Now, mind you, these sound more like 80s rock bands than characters, right? The Punk Frogs, Burn Thompson, the Neutrino. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if you were to go back and watch a Jetsons episode and find there was a band called the Neutrinos in their universe. Anyways, the creators of Shredder's Revenge clearly knew the lore from top to bottom, and I guess they forgot to put the word top there. And their passion for the franchise can be seen in every single pixel of the game. Look at this classic animation here. You got Leonardo, Raphael over at the rear there. I think that's Casey Jones right there. And then we'll get to the good. Let's see if anybody's commenting on anything more as of yet. Nope, no. All right. So, anyway, getting back to the article here. All right, with that, okay. Getting back to the article here then. The good. The aforementioned gameplay of Shredder's Revenge is one of the main highlights of the game, but it doesn't stop there. The music is also appropriately themed, harkening back to the tunage of the cartoon series with all the processed guitar shredding and synthesizers once could ask for. I think they're supposed to say one could ask for there. It's excellent and really fits the dynamic of the game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power. Anyways, it is, however, inconsistent, hopping back and forth between songs that sound lifted off the B side of the original Turtles in Time soundtrack versus odd but very cool, in parentheses, numbers complete with fully voiced lyrics and rapping. It's noticeable enough to break immersion, but with a game this zany and wild, who really cares? Very few people, I think, would actually care, but anyways. Multiplayer is a huge highlight of Shredder's Revenge, and Tribute built it with a specific purpose in mind at every turn. The game urges players to team up with friends and random players and throw a party. Yeah, remember the old pizza parties the Turtles used to have? Like, give me some pepperoni. Anyways, getting back to the article here. Let's see. It's hard to describe playing this game with several people to take down Shredder and his henchmen. Maybe just a wow melee is what you kind of get from it. That. Um, Unfortunately, it will never recapture the magic I personally felt way back in 1989. Of course, it's 33 years ago. Dumping quarters into a huge four-player arcade cabinet, um, along with three kids. Um, I had only just met then, and having the time of our lives, that kind of in-person camaraderie is pretty much extinct these days. Yeah, you don't really see any of the class. I mean, I'm not even sure if there are a lot of places that even still have the arcade cabinets, as it were. You know, I don't know of any myself. Um, but anyways, but Shredder's Revenge offers the closest approximate alternative, and that's good enough for me. Of course, the level of detail is truly phenomenal. Every stage is littered appropriately to the theme, and a lot of love went into polishing the environments and the events unfolding in the background. It all feels extremely lively, which is integral um, when trying to create an atmosphere of fun and excitement. Actually, this scene reminds me of this scene right here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Paperboy. For those who may not know what Paperboy is, Paperboy was another one of those arcade cabinet type games you'd find in the, follow. Basically, you portrayed a Paperboy trying to make deliveries to your customers within a certain amount of time on a bike, on a bicycle. And for those of you who don't know what a bicycle is, that's a vehicle that's made of two wheels and pedals, and you basically you don't doesn't have usually doesn't have a motor on it. Just you provide the power to it. And that's really the main takeaway of Shredder's Revenge. This is a game meant to make you feel good, get you excited, and end with a smile on your face. It's upbeat, it's charming, and it encapsulates everything that made kids smile when they were growing up with the original cartoon series. The bad. Shredder's Revenge is a lot of fun to play, but it does suffer from a few glaring missteps. First, no matter how much Tribute managed to beef up the side scrolling action formula, um, it's still relatively the same thing all over again. That's okay because fans already know what they're getting into when they press the start button. Chloe's barking again, so I've got to go tend to her. I'll be right back. I'll leave some music on for you guys to I'll be right back. All right. So, anyways, With that, right. However, the game doesn't offer quite the same maximization of gameplay potential as, say, Streets of Rage 4, which tried to pull out all the stops in order to break out of the established mold. For that reason, Shredder's Revenge feels a bit basic. But at least the $30 price tag helps offset that fact. There are a few gripes when it comes to the gameplay, mostly surrounding enemy attacks. There's nothing wrong with a challenge, but there are moments in the game when absorbing enemy damage feels unavoidable and mandatory. A lot of this could have been alleviated with less sluggish jumping mechanics, which means players will need to practice up a lot. Second, the pixelated on purpose artwork feels like a foot placed wrong. Okay? Sorry to say it, it's obvious what Tribute was trying to do here, but after coming off of Streets of Rage 4's beautifully painted character sprites and backgrounds, it's hard to appreciate the jaggies that permeate every single aspect of the visual experience. Of course, it is purely subjective, and many fans will adore the nostalgic throwback to the days of scan lines, CRTs, and low res visuals. Um, that was obviously the goal here, but it would have been better if Tribute had offered the pixelation as a graphical filter in the options menu, as opposed to a full fledged creative decision. And finally, the cover of the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon theme song should be taken out into the street and shot. One can't improve on perfection. Oh boy, yeah. Conclusion: for the low price tag, Shredder's Revenge is a no-brainer, but only if you're a fan of the franchise and side-scrolling brawlers in general. It's definitely a cut above the rest in terms of gameplay, and it remains to be seen what Tribute and Dotemu um, will offer in terms of DLC content moving forward. I can't promise it'll be a game that many will play for the 100th time, but it will satisfy a craving for some good old fashioned arcade fun, and Um, there's plenty of room to improve your fighting skills. Um, you will need them because the game is challenging, particularly on gnarly. For those who never grew up in the 1980s, the wackiness and humor of the game might be lost on them, but Shredder Revenge is certainly an excellent gateway drug for anyone interested in learning why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was such a cultural phenomenon back then, why it still resonates with fans more than 30 years after the fact. Congratulations to Tribute Games for accomplishing what many fans only dream of and bringing the good old days back to modern gaming. So 4 votes, an average score of 8 overall, so 8.2. Um, All right, so with that, we should now get ready to move on to anime portion of the. And there has been one story that came in since I last checked, but we will. Alrighty then. All right, so we have a couple of anime stories to go through here that I would think would be of some interest. Sony officially tapped Fast and Furious director Justin Lin to helm One Punch Man live action Hollywood adaptation. Article by Spence McQuilly, published June 17th, which was last Friday. Anime, manga, movies. Okay, so here we go with this. So it appears Sony Pictures is officially making moves on their plans to get a slice of the anime market. Um, as the studio has announced that Fast and the Furious director Justin Lin will helm the studio's previously announced live action adaptation of the fan favorite manga, One Punch Man. So here's something from One Punch Man, of course, in black and white. As revealed by Deadline on June 13th, the F9 and Star Trek Beyond director has been confirmed to be bringing his signature spectacle to a script written by original Venom film scribes Scott Rosenberg and Jeff Pinkner. Behind them will be longtime Marvel film producer Avi Arad and his brother Ari, who through their Ovid production company will serve alongside fellow producer Lin in bringing one's popular series to the silver screen. Further, the trade news outlet reported that Sony is looking to use the film as a jumping point for a full One Punch Man franchise. Huh, if anybody here. Yeah. Though the studio has remained tight-lipped on any further details regarding the project, a previous rumor from scooper Daniel Rickman suggested that Sony was eyeing Snake Eye star Henry Golding for the lead role of Saitama. However, as of writing, no further word of his casting has been mentioned by either scoopers or official sources. Oh, look at that! Look at that lady right there. Originally conceived as a webcomic by mangaka One, before being into a full-blown and beautifully illustrated manga by iShield 21 creator Yusuke Murata, um, for Shueisha's um, Shonen Jump Next, One Punch Man follows the story of an eponymous hero, otherwise known as Saitama, in his daily life as a quote unquote guy who's a hero for fun. Through nothing more than an extreme physical training regimen. Sound familiar, everybody? I love Batman. And at the cost of his hair, um, Saitama eventually reaches the apex of human strength, a la Samson, allowing him to vanquish most foes, as promised by the series title, One Physical Punch. Mhm. That must be one destructive punch. Saitama's exploits eventually land him an admirer in the form of Genos, a young cyborg hero who seeks to follow in his footsteps and become an even okay, I think they forgot to put in the word more there, an even more should be they say here even powerful defender of justice, but I think they forgot the word put in the word more there, even more powerful defender of justice. Quick to take Genos under his wing, the two turn to distinguishing themselves amongst the city's booming hero population, proceeding to do so through such victories as defeating an alien invasion force, sweeping the biannual Super Fight tournament, and winning a number of battles against members of the Monster Association, which I'm guessing is their answer to the main group of bad guys. Do you have any hopes for a live action One Punch Man, or do you find it impossible to disconnect the idea from such disasters as Dragon Ball Evolution, Netflix's Death Note? Let us know your thoughts. Yeah, basically, anytime a Western company tries to do a live action, more times than not, they fail. I mean, that's just been the established history there. You know, they just anytime they try to make a live action version of an anime, they just outright fail. You know, I mean, they mentioned those two. There's also, of course, Cowboy Bebop. You know, no, they're probably talking about movies. That's why they didn't talk about Cowboy Bebop. But yeah. Anyways, getting ready to move on to the next article. Then this will be the last article we'll probably be reading tonight. There was another one that came up, but we'll probably get to that one tomorrow. On Studio Orange. Oh, we're at least past the hour mark already. Right now it's past. There we go. Hello. And if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream to help, see if we can get some more people in here, that'd be appreciated. Um, that we got one more anime article to go through here. All right, so Studio Orange to produce new Trigun Stampede CGI anime article by Nerdigans publishes past Friday. The legend of Vasta Stampede is apparently far from over, as a new animated adaptation of Yasuhiro Night Owl's classic space western manga, Trigun, is officially in production. The original anime was actually pretty good. Many of you probably remember watching it on Tsunami or Adult Swim all those years ago. As teased by the at 6 Billion Bounty Twitter account on June 15th, which is last Wednesday, and confirmed with an official series reveal and account name change to at Trigun Anime on the next day, the donut-loving gunslinger will return in 2023, courtesy of the CGI production powerhouse behind Beastars and Land of the Lustrous, Studio Orange. While initial details on the series are virtually non-existent, the series' official website promises that further information on Trigun Stampede will be revealed at a series-centric panel set to be held on July 2nd during the upcoming Anime Expo 2022 convention in Los Angeles. That's, I believe, next weekend, guys. Next Friday through Sunday, because Anime Expo has been done ever since on the 4th of July weekend. So. Let's see. A long night owl in attendance at the panel will be character designer Koji Tajima, Gantz, and O. Orange equals producers Waki Sumikin of Godzilla Singular Point and Watanabe Yoshihiro, Beastars, and Toho producer Takei Katsuhiro, Your Name. First series related production since 2013's Trigun Batlands Rumble. Is that Batlands Rumble or is it supposed to be Badlands Rumble? I thought it was Badlands Rumble, but. And the second television adaptation following Madhouse's popular self-titled 1998 anime, Trigun Stampede will ostensibly attempt to tackle Night Owl's full work. Originally serialized in Akira Shoten's Monthly Shonen Champion between 1995 and 1997, and continued under the name Trigun Maximum and Shonen Gahosha's Young King Hours, um, until its conclusion in 2008. Trigun tells the tale of Vasta Stampede, a living weapon whose escape from its captors eventually gives way to a less than lucrative bounty as a bounty hunter on the barren no man's land of post-apocalyptic Earth. So Vash presents himself as a clumsy but good-natured uh, good ball. I think that's supposed to be goofball. Another typo there. I think that's supposed to be goofball, not good ball. His outward personality hides a burning desire to track down and stop his brother Knives from exterminating humanity. So you got one guy who's known as Knives, the other is Trigun. So bullets versus knives. I wonder how that would usually work. Additionally, it was announced that Crunchyroll will be simulcasting Trigun Stampede, quote, in more than 200 countries and territories around the world, unquote, when it premieres next year. Both Trigun and Badlands Rumble are currently available for streaming on Crunchyroll. Are you excited for more Trigun? Let us know your thoughts on the social media. Yeah, I'd even be more excited if they brought it to the tsunami, but bring it back to television. But I guess. All right, so that's pretty much we're finished with the articles for tonight. But as I said, we do have some wrestling news to go over quite a bit, particularly in the WWE, but also AEW and Impact. So we'll get to that pretty soon here. So, yeah. All right. All right. So anyway, we got that all set up now. Okay. All right. So here we go. So we'll get into some wrestling news here. First, I will go through the WWE news. So there's obviously more coming out of the whole hush money scandal that Vince has been involved with, as it's now coming to fruition. Is now it would appear there's a law firm that is looking to possibly sue the WWE on securities fraud charges. A law firm apparently representing the shareholders in the WWE have now started to file suit against the against McMahon, I guess, for securities fraud, basically, in terms of, in other words, for not keeping them, not telling them what he was doing with money, But it's still I don't know if it's still been made clear whether or not Vince, with that hush money, whether he paid for it out of his own account or out of the company's account. If he paid with the company's money, then he's in some serious trouble there. But does seem that everything seems to be moving forward in terms of possibly having Stephanie step into the CEO role and maybe possibly becoming a permanent replacement for her father there. So that's pretty much all it did. Now there's a couple other things that happened over the weekend as well, basically both in a span of a couple of days. I'll look that up real quick. Look up the dates for those real quick. Let's see. I believe it was Saturday and Sunday, so 17th and 18th, but I got to double check here. Actually, that happened on Friday there. Um, okay, so then let me see the other one. All right, actually, it was 2 days apart for the two of them. So yeah, so over the weekend here, first on Friday and then yesterday. On Friday, um, professional wrestling, former WWE referee, um, Dave Hebner passed away at the age of 73. He had been suffering from Parkinson's disease for a while there. And yesterday, Tim White passed away at the age of 68. There's still no information on what Tim White died of. So Dave Hebner, as many of you know, him and his brother Earl were part of the WWE. They were both referees. They were involved in the referee switcheroo back in the, I think, sometime in the late 80s. That kind of helped Andre win the I think kind of helped Andre to win the WWE world title. Dave would continue on for a while, then move on to TNA, where he would be a referee with his son Brian. So he passed away at the age of 73. He'd been suffering from Parkinson's disease. Tim White was a referee, one of the more well. He refereed a lot of. Of course, Tim White was known for being Andre the Giant's handler in the early days of Tim White's career. He was a guy who was basically would drive Andre around, make sure people didn't mess with him and all that. He was also referee with the WWF up until from 1985 to 2004, and then would serve with the WWE for another 5 years after that in different capacities. So June 17th, Dave Hebner passed away at the age of 73. And yesterday, Tim White passed away at the age of 68. And just give me a moment here while we do that. Oh, what am I trying to do there? Just a moment. Mhm. So with that, with what I just announced in regards to passing of both Dave Hebner and Tim White, I would like to do a moment of silence for them both. Um, you know, send out my condolences to their families, of course. So here we go. Okay. with that now out of the way, um, now moving on to some AEW news. This Sunday is AEW's next pay-per-view. They're co-producing a pay-per-view from they're co-producing a pay-per-view with New Japan Pro Wrestling from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. This Sunday, of course, in the main event set up, New Japan's Hiroshi Tanahashi will be taking on Jon Moxley to determine who the interim AEW world champion will be, while CM Punk is recovering from his foot surgery. That's the main event for this Sunday's Forbidden Door. You also have in a fatal four-way match, you have the All Atlantic title being established in AEW. You have two members of the four already advancing with Pac and Miro. They've already advanced in the tournament. Tomorrow, on this Wednesday's Dynamite, Penta Oscura will be taking Death Triangle's Penta Oscura will be taking on Malachi Black to see who the House of Black, Malachi Black, to see who will be who will advance into the four-way there. Penta Oscura, of course, representing Mexico, and I believe, based on the flag I was seeing, Malachi Black representing France. So you got that going on. You also have a three-way match, a tag team three-way match, where both the Ring of Honor and IWGP tag team titles are on the line. FTR, who are the current Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, will be defending their titles against United Empire, the duo of Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb, who will also be defending their IWGP tag team titles, and the team representing Roppongi Vice of Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. You also will have Will Ospreay defending the IWGP United States Heavyweight title against Orange Cassidy, and Thunder Rosa will be defending the AEW Women's World title against Toni Storm. So, and then there's one other match where Eddie Kingston and Wheeler Yuta will be teaming up with New Japan's Shota Umino, be taking on two members of the Jericho Appreciation Society, Chris Jericho and Kenny Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki. And with that, also with AEW in preparation, of course, for that match, this Wednesday's Dynamite, as I mentioned earlier, will have the third qualifying match for the four-way for the All Atlantic tournament there, in which Malachi Black will be representing France, and the House of Black will be taking on Penta Oscura, representing Mexico, and the Death Triangle. You also will have the main event thus far is looking like Chris Jericho and Lance Archer will be teaming up to take on Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jon Moxley during the main event at the pay-per-view. And then one other match that's signed for Wednesday, the team of Roppongi Vice of Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta will be teaming up with Orange Cassidy to take on members of the United Empire in a six-man tag match. The three representatives will be United States champion Will Ospreay, well, Matt Davis, and Kyle Fletcher. So that's all that's going on in AEW news. Now, in regards to Impact. Yesterday, of course, Impact Wrestling had its Slammiversary. Among some of the major news announcements included AJ Styles was given special permission by the WWE to at least do a kind of video call-in, as it were, to help look back on his early days of his career. As some of you might remember, AJ Styles was an integral part of Impact Wrestling foundation of its formative years. Um, so he was allowed to come and now among other things, of course, a lot of title changes happened during the night. Of course, um, you had the only two guys who retained their titles were Rick Swan retained the digital media championship on the pre-show, the countdown show, and then Josh Alexander retained the Impact World title over Eric Young. So aside from that, all the other titles changed hands. The Influence lost the Knockouts tag team titles to Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. Of course, Taya Valkyrie, who's also still the AAA Reina de Arenas champion. Tasha Steelz would lose the Impact Knockout title in the Queen of the Mountain match to Jordan Grace. Um, let's see. Speedball Mike Bailey would become the new X Division champion. The Good Brothers would defeat the Briscoes for the Impact World title. So I'm sure we'll be hearing more news on it this Thursday on Impact. You can also catch CTI before the Impact on YouTube here as well. So if you guys want to go check that out. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys in terms of news tonight. So now, let's see, we're coming up on an hour and a half here, hour 23. And let's see, unless there's anything else anybody would like to ask or talk about, we will start to wrap up here. I'll just give it a few more minutes here to see if anybody wants to chime in or anything like that. Let's see where we're at on time here. I'll give it till about hour 25, and then if I don't hear anything, then I will start to wrap things up. All right. Well, with that, then I guess it'll be a good time to start wrapping up here. So, with that, today being Monday, June the 20th, 2022, why don't we go ahead and take a look back at this day in news history? History! So, first off, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to John Goodman. John Goodman, most people remember him from his role of Dan Connor from his role as Dan Connor on Roseanne, but he also played the Babe Ruth in the movie The Babe, and he also lent his voice to a few characters in animation as well, including Frosty the Snowman and Frosty Returns, the Robot Santa, and the Futurama X episode Christmas Story, spelled with an X. Pasha from the Emperor's New Groove and Emperor's New School franchise. James P. Sully Sullivan from Monsters Inc. franchise. He would come in to play Baloo in Jungle Book 2, among other things. So happy 70th birthday to John Goodman today. Um, with that, um, we will move on to the next piece of history here. As on this date in 1972, which was 50 years ago today, 50 years ago today, the 100th issue of Justice League of America, and I believe this was the volume one of the franchise, volume one, issue number 100, went on sale on this date in 1972, 52 years ago. Sold for 20 cents, so you can get this book back then for $2, basically. 32 pages. Julius Schwartz was the editor. The story was called The Unknown Soldier of Victory, 24 pages, written by Len Wayne. Dick Dillon did the penciling with ink done by Joe Giella. So on this date, cover art by Nicholas Peter Carty. Justice League 100 went on sale on this date 50 years ago today. So with that, let's see now. Getting ready to move on to the next piece of news history here. As on this date back in 1982, 40 years ago today, uh, Paul Orndorff, who most of us remember as Mr. Wonderful from the WWE, at the time, of course, he was wrestling for the NWA and wrestling for NWA Georgia specifically, or Georgia Championship Wrestling. Paul Orndorff would defeat Buzz Sawyer for the NWA National title on this date back in 1982. He would later vacate the title to focus on training for shots at Ric Flair's world heavyweight title. But on this date in 1982, Paul Orndorff would win the national heavyweight title from Buzz Sawyer. So there we go with that one. And last but not least, in terms of this day in news history, as on this date 5 years ago today, on this date 5 years ago today, the Light and Films produced anime, Light and Films produced anime Akashi Records of Bastard Magic Instructor concluded its run on this date back in 2017. So on this date, 5 years ago today, the Light and Films produced anime Akashi Records of Bastard Magic Instruction concluded its run on various Japanese networks. So there we go with that one. I thank everybody for being here tonight. I thank everybody for all the likes and shares. I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I know there's been some talk that maybe I don't, but I do appreciate it. You know, um, I work hard to put this stuff together. You know, so that you guys have the information. Um, but with that, now don't forget this. Now, starting this week, I'm not going to go into too much details, as some of you had heard. That goat has decided that he no longer wishes to co-host the Friday night historical comic retrospect with me. I am disappointed in that, and disappointed that how it went down. And he'd been with from since we started doing it, and he was a great co-host. He offered a lot in terms of material, you know, and I just wish him the best. I wish whatever's going on that I wish the best for him. He's a good man, a good friend. Um, but as that has happened, I now have to, of course, move on. And so now what we're doing, and as per suggested by RJ Carter, you know, we will now be having a rotating co-host system on Friday nights, which will mean we'll have different co-hosts every week. Well, basically, hopefully we'll get a nice number in there. 4 or 5 people that we can rotate through. Um, this Friday, Action Toys Channel will be joining me to go over comics that went on sale in February 1939 from Fiction House. So we'll be, of course, going through Jumbo Comics. I believe it's either number 6 or number 7. Double check that. But so that means, of course, we'll be reading up on some Sheena, the Jungle. We'll be reading up on Nova Gay, and we'll be reading up on, of course, Weird Stories of the Supernatural, The Secret Diary of Dr. Hayward, along with whatever, time permitting, whatever else we can find in there. So I hope everybody will be back here for that. I hope everybody will be back here tomorrow night for more news and history and all that. So until tomorrow, bye.